All right, there's some massive changes that could be coming to the NBA soon. The Bulls keep their playoff push going, and then the Western Conference, as it's been for the last 3 weeks, continues to get more and more jumbled up. We're going to talk about all that and more in another episode of. All right. The CBA just introduced some new proposed changes that could be coming to the NBA as soon as next year or 2 years. I don't know the exact date when this will be getting implemented,
I thought it
but
was next year.
I think it hopefully is next year. A couple of things though, 65 game requirement for players to be eligible for major awards such as MVP, DPOY, and all those awards like that. And then the
Yeah.
other one is all NBA teams will now be positionless, so now we won't see Embiid and Jokic on separate teams because they both should be first team players. And
Yeah,
they
that makes sense. And I'm sure
Embiid's
the
gonna get stuck.
players, yeah, I'm sure the players really wanted that for money reasons because you make a bunch more money if you're
Yeah.
all NBA first compared to second. So it's unfair to Jokic and Embiid. If they're both really good, they should be all NBA first team. It makes sense.
Correct.
And then I love the 65 game requirement. I think that's a really good thing. It just makes it so much more, you can just see it. Like there's
Yeah.
no debate. Like Jaren Jackson, how many games has Jaren Jackson played this year? Does he qualify for Defensive Player of the Year? Has he played 65 games?
Right. And I mean we did videos about this on our TikTok a while ago, and we proposed one way to end load managing is to one, make a minimum amount of games that people have to play to be eligible for the awards and give people reasons to play. And along with the CBA, in-season tournament is also a thing that's in the works. And they're starting to put limitations on how much teams can spend and how teams can have flexibility within trades and to maximize their roster compared
Yeah.
to the teams like because the Golden State's payroll compared to like Oklahoma City's payroll is just ridiculously different.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. If Golden State's going to pay guys way, way over the cap room, why do they get this extra mid-level exception to give some guy $8 million? It doesn't make sense. So the
Right.
NBA should
And then with
take
the eight
that away.
million, because they're spending so much money on these other max players, the $8 million guy is probably worth 15 million, but he's like, I want to win a championship. Let me go play for
Right.
you.
Exactly.
So yes, this is I like every change that was announced yesterday. I like. I'm super intrigued by the midseason tournament because or the in-season tournament
Yeah.
because like how will that work with division? Because it says they're going to do pool play, and that could be interesting because that could actually incorporate divisions into things.
Yeah,
Uh,
which we haven't
what
seen for.
what will be the extra award for winning it? Does it give you like you gotta make it something? You gotta give teams a
Remember a
incentive.
couple years ago, there was like in the Western Conference, there was something with the standings where somebody was higher ranked in a division, so they got a higher playoff seed, even though they had a worse record or something like that. Do
Yeah,
you remember that?
yeah, that was a couple years ago though, right?
Yeah, yeah, like a while ago when like the Spurs were the one seed.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean this it has a lot of interesting implications, but I'm interested to see just how it changes the way the season's played, how players go about it, and how hopefully it changes the game a little bit just in
yeah.
general. Hopefully, like there's just more competition. I know you're worried about people are worried about injuries and stuff, so maybe and this interestingly enough, nothing was said about shortening the NBA season. And I
Nope.
thought that I didn't think they'd actually do it, but I didn't hear any reports about that even being a discussion because of how much money they make from how much games they have.
Yeah.
But if you're going to require guys to play 65 games to win an award, then I'm interested to see how that leads to injuries. If it leads to more injuries, if it leads to less, like what happens? Because maybe we'll see the players that actually are injured, they'll be out. But
Do
like
you
guys
have
that
to
we just need to
play
get games off, they'll play because they want to win.
do you have to play 65 games to qualify for all NBA?
I'd assume that would be along
Probably.
with the rules. Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, interesting stuff, interesting changes, and I'm assuming once we get to the off season and all like the and finals are over and stuff, and the NBA can like move on to the next season, they'll start to talk more and more about this stuff and what the details and the rules would be. But there's a lot of interesting. I mean, it can really change the entire landscape of the NBA, just the way
You
the
really
game.
think it's gonna change
I think
load
the
management?
in-season
Like
tournament.
Kawhi
I think
Leonard cares about making all
no,
NBA playing 65 games? I don't think he does.
no, but I think it does change. Like for example, these last like 4 or 5 games that are left in the NBA season. Say Milwaukee clinches the 1 seed tomorrow.
Hmm.
I don't think Giannis, Middleton, or Drew Holiday play the last 3 games of the season.
Probably,
However,
yeah.
say Giannis had played 63 games and he needs 65 to be eligible for the MVP, and you could sit him for the last 3 games of the season, or you could play him.
He's
He's
playing.
playing.
He's
So
playing.
it's not going to make a massive change, but it's going to change how much players play in some cases. I think it's also
Yeah,
going to see who cares about. It's also going to prove who cares about the awards and who cares about actually competing the entire season. And
that'll
who
be
cares
interesting.
about
Yeah, I
showing
was
up.
gonna say it might out like injuries a little more and what teams really care about what or what players care about
Yeah,
what. It's good. It's gonna be a good thing though, I
and then I
think.
just want to see. I'm interested what the incentive is for the in-season tournament. Like, what award does the best team get? Is it home court advantage in certain places? Is it like it says that the two top teams would probably play an 83rd game? How do they get an extra advantage for that, or do
An
they get another?
83rd
Do they
game.
get more money to spend? Like with their exception, like I don't know what the award will be, but I mean, it's no incentive to play the in-season tournament if there's no award. Like you want to see if you can win.
Right.
So
Yeah, no, that'll be super interesting though. I'm excited about that.
hopefully I'm glad that the NBA is continuing to change more and more
Yeah, we're
because
seeing it in the MLB as well, and I think it's a good thing that sports are trying to like advance and
yeah,
just
I don't think it's going to take away from the NBA at all. I mean, it's still
no,
super
no,
entertaining to watch. If anything, it makes it better because I mean we've complained continuously about
yes,
just the issues with the NBA, and hopefully this fixes some of them.
yeah.
Uh,
At least they're doing something.
yeah, but that's all future stuff. So let's move into the stuff that's going on now. We'll talk about the Bulls because I mean there's let's say 3 episodes ago, which probably would be I don't know like a month ago, that we posted that one. We said that we probably wouldn't be talking about the Bulls much more. We lied
Yeah,
because the
we were talking
Bulls,
about lottery odds on the
yeah,
podcast.
and if we should tank for Wembanyama, the Bulls have turned it around entirely.
Yep.
Are we gonna win a playoff series? No, not at all. Because our two opponents would be Boston and Milwaukee. We can maybe
Are
steal a
we
game.
gonna win the first game of the play-in?
Exactly. That's another question. Because
Maybe.
can I trust this team to win in the play-in? We have the talent to. We beat Memphis by 20 points last night.
Are we a better team than Toronto if we play Toronto? That's a toss up to me.
That's a toss-up. I think we're a better team than Atlanta. So I think
I
that
agree.
if Atlanta ends up being 9 and we're 10, or say we're 9 and they're 10, I think we can get past the first one.
Yeah, we have a
Um,
huge game against them tomorrow, which
Huge game against them too.
they're a full game ahead right now,
But we
right?
could potentially play Miami, who we've beat 3 times this season.
Yeah.
So it's the problem with like predicting can the Bulls win a play-in game is difficult because I've seen us play games like last night where we look like a top 10 team in the league. And then I see us play games like we play against the Indiana Pacers where you lose to the Indiana Pacers 3 times.
Yeah.
But I've seen that team a lot less in the last month or so.
Yeah, you can tell there's a lot less. DeMar DeRozan is looking for looking to move the ball, I guess.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting more touches. Patrick Williams getting involved more. Kobe White, as we've talked about a lot, has been stepping up and does deserve a contract extension for sure. But
Yeah.
Zach LaVine is playing out of his mind right now. He has really stepped up since the All-Star break.
Yeah, he's definitely showing why he was worth the money. And he's also showing that what he needs to be successful is DeMar DeRozan to not consistently have the ball and to have a point guard like Patrick Beverley. And it's not just Patrick Beverley getting guys in his spots, but he also just changed the entire mentality on this team.
Yeah, he did. A
He,
guy that gives full energy like that all the time, how can that not
like
motivate
it
me?
looks like guys want to play and are excited to play and are ready to play compared to
Yeah.
where it just looked like a job before. Pep Bev brought a different type of energy, different type of effort to the team, which we haven't seen in years, honestly. Even last year when we were good, the energy, I wouldn't say we were just a better team, but the
Mhm.
energy was always there was we were still looking at games like, well, we got lucky that we just had a more talented team. And we got lucky that DeMar DeRozan had a buzzer beater. Like we were
Yeah.
looking at a lot of games last year, and then when Lonzo went down, the team and teams started dealing with injuries, we saw that we just weren't that good.
Hmm.
This year we had energy pieces, and every good championship team has pieces like that. Draymond Green won last year. He was
Yep.
that. Kyle Lowry, when the Raptors won it, was that guy for them. When the Cavs won it, they had, of course, LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, but you had guys like Tristan Thompson, you had shooters, you had guys that were willing to do the dirty work. You need guys that done on a championship team, which the Bulls aren't, but you're seeing what a guy like that can do for a team that has enough talent to be a playoff team.
Yeah. And it doesn't show up on the stat sheet all the time, but you can just, like you said, tell it changes the whole energy for the team. And I think Caruso does a good job of that as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but Caruso does it through
the
his
whole
play,
team.
not through his leading.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas Pat Bev is an actual vocal leader on the court, as well as a person that plays with a certain level of energy.
Yes.
And then
Um,
you mentioned Kobe White. I mean, we just talked about this before we started, but he should be getting re-signed this offseason.
yeah,
I
it'll be interesting to see what his market is, but we talked about him being a six man for the Bulls for a couple years. I think that's the perfect role for him. He's
Mhm.
able to create a shot in the NBA, which is a hard skill to come by now.
He can finish games
And
for us too.
yeah, that's worth a lot of money. He's a good shooter, and most importantly, he's like actually become a solid defender. That was a huge like minus in his game, and he's gotten a lot better at that.
And ball handler, which was
Yes, for
the
sure.
two biggest concerns we had coming into the season with Kobe White were is he going to handle the ball better and will he defend at all?
Hmm.
Defends a lot better now, and he actually has a handle on the ball and can run the offense. Not to the degree of a true point guard, but can run it well enough.
Yeah, and you see he's what 23 years old right now. What happens when you just wait on these top draft picks? We didn't wait on marketing. He's a all-star in Utah now. He might make an all-NBA team. Probably not, but and we've seen Wendell. He's in Orlando right now, averaging a double-double. He's their starting center. He's looking really good. Now Kobe White breaking out. So we'll see what happens with guys like Patrick Williams, but
Need it. Need a season where I can see his next steps as well.
yeah.
I mean, it may take roster reconfiguration for him to finally find his footing, but if you're telling me to pick between DeMar DeRozan and Patrick Williams, the answer is Patrick Williams because one of them is 22 years old or
I think
21
he's
years old,
21.
and
21.
the other one's like 33. And don't get me wrong, DeMar has actually really changed his game around. He's becoming more of the facilitator.
Like the shot selection is so much better. And like
Yeah,
he put
and
up 31 points still,
and
but
while he's not hitting the three, and he's not by any means a good 3-point shooter, he's actually shooting this like the catch and shoot threes that Zach Levine and Pat Bev can get him. And when he hits them, great. And even if he doesn't hit them, it's a good shot in the offense. It's
it's
not
yeah,
a
it makes him a threat.
dribble contested. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Make him
People
guard
are
you.
like, regardless, we'd rather give up a DeMar DeRozan mid-range two than or like a deep one than a wide open three. You
Right.
never want to give up a wide open three. So
Yeah, so shoot the three. And we've seen, I mean, 31 and 7 last night. Levine had like 36 and 9.
he had 9 assists, led the
That
team in
was
assists.
Yeah, the fourth quarter was maybe the best display of defense I've seen from the Chicago Bulls all season, if not in 3 years. That
Yeah,
was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. We had a stretch of like 3 to 4 minutes where it was steal, bucket, steal, layup,
yeah.
steal. I was
Well,
like,
we went
this is unbelievable.
17 on a 17-0 run in the third.
Yeah, and then we went, and then it was 104, 101.
Right.
I'm pretty sure the Bulls went on like another 16-3 run.
Yeah. And that was after we were down like 20 points because the Grizzlies started out like historically good from three. They were shooting the
Yeah.
light out.
Which is the difference between now's team and earlier in the season because now's
For
team like,
sure.
okay, you know what? Yes, we're getting killed by 20, but they're also shooting unbelievably at an unbelievable rate. If we
Hmm.
play defense, chase them at the 3-point line, and get our offense going, you can easily come back, and we did.
And that's what happened.
40 to
The
16
Bulls
out
team, yeah.
third quarter.
First half season Bulls team definitely
We
not
lose
coming
by
back
40.
from that game.
We lose by 40. Yeah.
No doubt.
This team, this team shows fight, which is
I
why I
like
really hope we get in the playoffs because I want Zach Levine to get like another playoff series.
that.
With this time he's healthy and as the main guy. And lastly, Vooch. We need to re-sign Vooch. There isn't much better out there than Nikola Vucevic.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah. You can
and
see like
you got to
I
see
said
how much he's
earlier
healthy.
in the year that center was the most replaceable position in the league. Andre Drummond, if Andre Drummond tried to do Nikola Vucevic's job, we might be the highest lottery odd team. Like
Probably.
it would be awful.
And that's not saying Andre's bad. He does a good job
Yeah,
on the
it's
role.
not.
But what Vucevic does is he's a safety valve on offense because he's a big man that can pass. He can
Mhm.
shoot the ball at a relatively high rate, especially from the mid range. He's a monster down low. He's probably one of the best back to the back scorers in the league, and he
Top five
rebounds.
rebounder.
And he rebounds
Yep.
exactly. So when I hear people complain, especially Bulls fans about Vooch, I'm like, okay, complain. Yeah, he should have been taking as many threes. I agree with that. He did. Maybe he needs to not play a better defense. I wish he would be a better defender. Maybe, but Who else are you going to get out there? Who else are you going to go pay $20 million to and say, do what Vucevic does for us? There's not many guys in the league that you can go out there and do that and get that.
Speaking of somebody who could definitely fill that role, did you see Victor Wembanyama miss the three and put that shit back? Oh my God. That
That,
was
that was
insane.
wild.
And like the announcer was like talking about how good he is, and he just three off the back iron, cocks it back. That insane. Who else can do
It's
that?
it's gonna be crazy to see him in the league, but
Yeah.
also I want to see how he translates to the NBA. Not saying he's gonna be bad by any means. It's gonna be great, but I just want to see it happen first. Kind of tired of talking about him, not because he's not good, just because I'm tired of talking about him.
Yeah, because we haven't seen him all year, and it's been kind of frustrating. But yeah, it's gonna
Yeah,
be super exciting when he comes out. Also, Chet will be very interesting for the Thunder next year.
very. The Thunder are gonna be a very interesting team because they can do a lot. They can either keep the rebuild going or they can say "fuck it, let's win now" and just use their ass. Yo, they could.
Oh,
Shea Gilgeous
like yeah, like go in with what they
Because
have. Oh,
Shea
for
Gilgeous
sure.
Alexander is a bona fide superstar, and he will
Jalen
be
Williams is the
going
second
to
best
be an All
rookie in the
Star.
class.
Jalen Williams will be an All Star. We don't know what Chet even looks like yet, and Josh Giddey averages like 16, 7, and 6 or something,
Lou
maybe higher.
Dort's good. The other Jalen Williams is good.
Right. So you have
And
proven
their number
assets,
two pick hasn't played all year.
and if you go look at how many first round picks they have in the next 4 to 5 years, I mean, it's more than a lot of teams have. They have
Yeah.
a lot of routes to go where they can say, okay, one more year of rebuilding. They'll probably make the playoffs next year, even if they don't try to
They're gonna
win.
make the playoffs this year.
They will. Well, play in. Well, I'll see if they make the playoffs. But
Okay.
they're gonna have to beat the Lakers or they have
The
to beat
Lakers are the 6th seed right now,
the
so no.
7 seeds. They're the 7 seed, Graham. They're the 7 seed.
They're
I just
they're
looked.
the
They're the
7th seed.
7 seed.
Okay, they're the 7th seed.
But this is a good segue into the West because the Western Conference right
Yeah.
now, like always, is like it has been. Sorry, not like always. Like it has been. Is just at an unbelievably competitive level at the moment. Um, hey, funnily enough, guess who came back recently? Karl Anthony Towns. Guess what team
Yeah.
got worse when they came back?
Okay, I sent you the video yesterday of Okay, also the entire Minnesota Timberwolves team has the flu right now. I
The
swear to God, the
Timberwolves,
whole team does.
the
That's what they
Timberwolves
were
started
saying.
playing better when they got Mike Conley, and Anthony Edwards and Gobert actually fed well off each other. Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns do not work together on the floor.
Yeah.
So
Karl Anthony Towns is such an awkward basketball player. Like he needs space, and Gobert provides no space.
Gobert may be the biggest space eater in the
He
NBA.
is. He is. He just eats it. Like, why did people think that would work? Because Carl can spread the floor. Like, he can't guard fours. He can't guard
He can
KD
barely
in the
guard
playoffs.
fives. He can barely guard fives, let alone fours. I mean, Karl Anthony Towns is. When did anyone say
They
he's
were doing this. This was going to be their future for 4 years. Imagine if they made it to the second round of the playoffs and played like the Clippers. You can't play both of them on the court ever. Not the
you?
entire game. They can't be on the court together.
Let's think about. Say they make the
They'd get
playoffs.
run off.
Say they make the playoffs with the 7 or 8 seed. Their two matchups are the Grizzlies or the Nuggets. You can't play two centers against the Grizzlies or the Nuggets because Jokic is going to cook Towns or Gobert. I don't care who you put on him. Jokic will cook him. And then the fourth they play,
If the Grizzlies play Adams and Jackson, but they don't even do that. They
Jaren
play
Jackson
Jackson.
Jr. is like so much better of a four, like defensively, and like he's on Karl Anthony Towns' level. Maybe he's actually sorry, he's below Towns on offense, not by much though. He's actually a really good offensive player,
Really good.
and defensively he blows him out of the water. And then Steven Adams, while Gobert is probably a little bit better defensively, Steven
I
Adams
would
is the best rebounder in the NBA.
give me Jaren Jackson Jr. over Karl Anthony Towns for sure. For me.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
the defense is so different compared to the offense, where
Yeah.
you need to take Jared Jackson Jr.
Who else was I saying? Oh, give me Brandon Ingram over Jalen Brown.
Oh yeah, no shit.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean, there's actually sorry, that's not true. You and I are on the same wavelength. A lot of people would find that crazy to say because Jalen Brown plays for the Celtics and because Jalen Brown's in the spotlight more. Brandon Ingram is cold. Brandon Ingram, if he could actually stay on the court for
Oh,
more than 10 games at a time, is cold.
which he has been like
Recently,
lately.
recently. Let me see
Dude,
him. Let me see him play 60 games in a season though, and I
let me
totally
see
agree with you.
Zion play 60 with him.
Yeah,
Jesus.
we saw them play 30 together, and or he didn't even play at the beginning of the season.
They weren't together. They weren't playing together, bro.
Let me see him play
And
together in a
Zion was
team.
carrying them to the 2 seed, and now Ingram's in, and they're 7-3 in their last 10, and he's scoring 30 in all of them.
Yeah, injuries. That team lives and dies by injuries. That's just how that works because Zion
Yeah, they
Williamson
might like
is the most
throughout
injury prone player in the NBA, aside from Davis.
throughout those two entire careers together, whether they stay together or not, they're gonna get maybe one healthy shot at it. Like Zion and Brandon Ingram being healthy for the next 2 seasons fully not happening.
The and then the last team that I think in the West that we should actually sorry, there's two more. Two Mavericks, 40 Lakers. The
Oh,
Mavericks
yeah.
are the most disappointing
I
team
was
in
gonna
the
say
NBA this
Dallas.
year.
Yeah.
The Mavericks have been at least in the second half of the season. My God, Kyrie Irving gets there. He's not even playing bad, but
No, he's
that
playing
team is
really good.
that team is two superstars with no defense, a miserable head coach, and no length and no size. That
Yeah,
team
Mark
is not.
Cuban. Jeez. I mean, listen, how did people not see this coming? I don't get it.
I think
They
people did. I think they just expected Luca and Kyrie to be dropping 40 together every night, which is just not happening.
they are. They have the last 2 games and they've lost both of them.
because you
Like
because they let
they
up a
can't win
hundred
when they do
when
it.
you let up 120 points every fucking game, you're gonna lose most of those games
Exactly.
because you can get 80 from Doncic and Kyrie, and you still need another 40 or 50 points to win that game because you're gonna let up 120.
And you're gonna throw on the defensive side of the ball. You're gonna throw Josh Green on Kevin Durant, or are you gonna throw Christian Wood on him?
Now their season's
Maxi
done, but
Kleber?
but the move, the Kyrie move is still a good move if he resigns. Because if he resigns and comes back with Luca, they can use their money to go fill out the rest of the team. I think
Yeah,
this
for
move
sure.
got done. A lot of people knew this was a long term move, but it's only a good long term move if Kyrie comes back.
So if you look at their contracts, is Hardaway expiring? Probably not.
I don't know. I
He
haven't
has
looked.
the big contract. Christian
I
Wood is
I
definitely not expiring.
I haven't
Or wait,
looked. Oh, Christian Wood should be
is
expiring
that a
soon.
1 year deal?
Um,
Because he signed
no,
this year.
no, because they got him from Houston, and Houston had him on a 3 year with a 2 year option. This would be his second year.
Ooh, so he is a
I don't know if
player?
he has the option or if Houston or if it's a
Okay,
team.
because if Dallas has the option,
Let him go.
decline it.
But either way, what I'm looking at for Dallas is even if they make the plan and someone make the playoffs, lose in the first round. But in the offseason, if you go get another shooter or two and you go get guys that can defend, they'll be fine because they have the
Also,
stars. But they need an offseason to finish
a
this.
top 10 pick would help, especially in this year's
They
draft.
could tank. They're talking about tanking the rest of the season. They
Yep.
are.
I
All right.
mean, the Bulls
Lakers,
would take it.
because
Yeah.
you can start this off because you said earlier that we have religiously hated on the Lakers since we started this podcast.
Yeah, dude, we
Now
really
they
have. And because they've been terrible the entire time. They've been
yeah, I mean,
awful.
this has
And
been what a year. We're like a year and a quarter in to this, and
yeah,
since we started this last January, we
Davis played like 30 games.
yeah, they didn't even make the playoffs last year. That was awesome,
Yeah.
and then they were
And now
terrible.
they're the 7 seed and they look really good. D'Angelo Russell's back. He
They
looks
do.
really
They do
good.
look really good, and I'm interested because we haven't seen LeBron really turn it on since he's got back. It's only been a week. I'm interested to see what LeBron
Very
again.
triple.
We haven't seen like this aged LeBron after all the injuries in the playoffs yet. Is he going to go to
Yeah.
superhuman mode again, or is he going to rely on Anthony Davis to be the 35 and 10 guy, and LeBron's going to be the 25 and 10 guy?
I
Because
think since Anthony
that was
Davis
flopped the last time.
I think since Anthony Davis's return, they've had the best defense in the league, and he's averaging 30.
Yeah, he's pretty good at basketball. Anthony Davis is quite a good basketball player.
You can't ask for much more than that.
No, you can't. And you got
Like,
they got all the pieces to be successful. They have shooting now. They have defense. Sorry, they lack a good head coach.
where do you put a healthy Anthony Davis with a healthy Jokic, Embiid, and Giannis?
I'm gonna take him over Jokic.
You would?
Well, I'd probably take him over Embiid. Giannis is the only guy I'm taking over Davis. A healthy Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, when healthy, is
Can't
36
just
and
say I'm
13.
taking him over Embiid that fast. Embiid?
I can.
He's leading the league in scoring.
I don't give a fuck. Anthony
Why?
Davis does things on the defensive end that Joel Embiid cannot do. No. Cannot do. Joel Embiid is a
Okay, yeah,
Joel Embiid
for
is an
sure. Like,
above average interior defender.
yeah,
Anthony Davis is an elite interior defender, and Anthony Davis can also defend more than just the center position.
that's what he does. That's what he can do. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what he's way better than Joel Embiid
and
at, for
you're
sure.
gonna tell me that Anthony Davis also couldn't average 34 and 12 if he was healthy for an entire season? Because he could.
Mm.
He could. We've seen him. We've seen him doing it when he needs to.
I think Embiid is a more pure scorer with a better jump shot, better post moves, better three,
Better
more
three.
powerful,
Better three. A little more power. I would like
better
that matchup.
touch.
I would like that finals matchup, but when they go at each other, they're both dropping like 34 and 13 with like 3 blocks against each other. They're
The
both playing.
76ers aren't getting past the Bucks. They're
No, the
Giannis beats them
76ers
every
aren't getting
time.
past the
Oh,
Celtics.
they're gonna have to play Boston, yeah.
The 76ers are going to be stuck with having to play Boston and Milwaukee. Uh, and not that Brooklyn's going to give them any problems, but like I wouldn't want to play Brooklyn in the first round. That's just like a very scrappy team that can easily be overlooked for about 2 games.
Yeah, Brooklyn's a 6, yeah.
Once Brooklyn steals a game, Philly will turn it on. But that's the series where you're like, well, if Brooklyn could easily steal game one.
I think Cleveland will give Milwaukee a little bit of a scare too. I
Oh,
mean,
that's no shot. I think the Knicks beat Cleveland.
what?
I think the
What?
Knicks could. I think the Knicks could very well beat Cleveland. 100%.
I know they've been playing
Would you rather have
really
Julius Randle? Okay, the best player in that series is Donovan Mitchell. But would you rather have Julius Randle or Evan Mobley right now, this season? Don't you dare say Evan Mobley. All right, we're
Julius
gonna have to
Randle.
end it. We're gonna have to end the episode
Julius
there.
Randle. I said it. I said it.
No, it's Julius Randle. Julius Randle right now is better than Evan Mobley. Better
Offensively.
scorer. He actually has played in the playoff series. Yes, but defensively, like it's not like Julius Randle's a bad defender.
The Cavs didn't make the playoffs last year?
No,
No.
they lost. They lost in the play-in.
Oh, in the plan.
I mean, people talk a lot about Jared Allen. He's good. He's a great defender, but he gets paid. From what I've seen this season, Jared Allen's not worth $20 million. Because that's how much he gets paid, right?
Yes, he is. I think it's like 25.
Which
And
is he's not worth
like
it. Vooch gets
he's
paid
a
less.
really
Would you
good
rather have Vooch or Jared Allen? Because the only difference
Jared
you're
Allen.
getting is shot blocking. That's the only difference you're getting is shot
For
blocking.
age regions, obviously Jared Allen. Okay,
Oh well,
but
no shit. But like, I mean,
this
that changes the you do age reasons that changes the conversation for like
give me
half the
Jared
game.
Allen. Give me Jared Allen.
Okay, well, you and I disagree there. I'm not. I like Jared Allen's defensive game, but to pay a guy $25 million a year just to block shots is a little bit of a
Okay,
stretch.
he doesn't just block shots. Do you remember what happened that when Donovan Mitchell dropped 71 points and how many offensive rebounds that man had? Mobley wasn't even playing. And Jared Allen might have had 10 offensive rebounds.
Yeah, but also the refs gave them like every single free
For
throw,
sure.
every
They did.
single call, and every like that.
And he
I
traveled.
hate bringing that game up because there's
He
no
traveled.
way in hell we should have lost that game.
Yeah.
And that was the one time where I was like, that's not on us. That's on Billy Donovan and the refs because that was terrible. But
Are we gonna fire Billy Donovan?
no, he's been extended. Remember?
Yeah. Oh shit. That's right. We're not gonna fire Billy Donovan. He's the
But they
guy.
don't want to report that he's been suspended or
Yeah,
extended.
that came out like from
That's an off-season. That's an off-season topic to talk about.
classic
Either way,
Arturis.
but a second, back to the AD
The
and
only one of the only moves Arturis has made is extending his coach, and it went under the radar until midseason.
yeah, I mean the Bulls. I'm looking at the positives right now about the Bulls. I'm not worrying about the offseason stuff. Right now, the Bulls are like a much better team. I enjoy watching them play. I'm hoping we get into the plan, and please get into the playoffs so I can watch the playoff series. Aside from that, I want to go quickly back to the Davis, Giannis, and beating Jokic thing
Okay.
because what's your ranking for all four?
I think Giannis is the best player in the league.
Yeah, I think
I
Giannis
would
is one too.
go, hmm, I would go Embiid. I I would definitely go Embiid. I would go based off pure talent. If they're fully healthy, I would go Davis and then Jokic. I think
You remember what
the
Anthony Davis last time?
offense slash like you go.
Sorry, no, I agree with you there. But the thing I have him over Embiid just because the last time he was like Anthony Davis, not worried about injuries, fully healthy, not coming off of injuries, was the bubble. Remember what he
Won a
did in the
chip.
bubble?
Yep.
And then the time before that was when he was that regular season and last when he was in New Orleans. I know he's older now, but it's not like his talent's any less. And he's still in like late 20s. He's not old by any means. He was a different monster we have never seen before, and I'm not saying we've seen anything like Embiid before, but Embiid was getting compared to Anthony Davis earlier in his career,
And now he's getting compared to Shaq.
which I mean he is Shaq with a jump shot, to be honest.
I mean, he's just a better Shaq.
Not as
Yeah,
athletic.
not as
Shaq
big
was
and
Shaq ran the floor like we've never seen a big
physically
man run the
imposing.
floor before. But
Yeah,
actually, I think Giannis is the closest thing we've seen to Shaq, just because
probably.
the athleticism.
But he
But
shoots
I mean, I
three
think
from
Davis and
the game.
Embiid is. I think that's up for grabs because I mean Davis on the defensive end doesn't clear Embiid like by a lot, but he's better on the defensive end. And do you think there's a bigger gap between their two offensive games or their two defensive games?
They're two
I'd say
offensive
there.
games.
Oh, I disagree.
I don't.
Embiid has Davis beat like by a lot only in 3-point shooting,
I
and that's
think you're
just this season.
underestimating how good of a defender Joel Embiid is. At guarding fives, unbelievable.
Right, and Davis is on the same level and can also guard fours and threes and some twos.
Okay, but we don't need him to do that. We don't need Joel Embiid to do that.
Okay, but I'm just saying what he can do. I'm saying the collective body of work from what I've seen from Anthony Davis. Also, what only one of them has a championship, just one,
Oh, so we're bringing up a chip. Okay.
and one of them has.
We're bringing up a bubble ring from 3 years ago. I didn't know. I didn't know where we were going.
I mean, you took one when Joel Embiid loses in the second round.
How many games has Anthony Davis played since then? Has he played
He's
82?
no, he is not. Has Embiid? No.
Oh my. No, I'm saying has Anthony Davis played 82 games total
Oh,
since then?
I think he's
Probably
right
not.
around. I think he's right around there.
Probably.
Oh, yeah, that I mean that's true. But regardless, you can go back and forth. Giannis is the best big in the league, though. Actually, Giannis is
Yeah.
the best player in the league. Not
He
even
beats he beats Joel Embiid head to head almost every single time they play.
he killed him last time.
Yeah.
They put two
And
nights ago. He
also
killed him.
I have a question. Was Giannis playing when the Bucks blew out or when the Celtics blew out the Bucks by like 40 a couple
Yeah, the
days ago?
Celtics just killed him. Tatum and Brown had 70 combined through three quarters.
I saw Tatum was like plus 38 through three.
Yeah, no,
And
they
Giannis was
killed him.
playing?
Yeah, he was.
Wow.
No, they just got beat bad.
That's scary.
Yeah, I mean, is Boston that much better than
Nobody's
everyone?
talking about Boston. Nobody's talking about Boston, and I swear to God, nobody's talking about Denver. Everybody's like, "Oh, Denver's
There's a
fragile."
reason for no talking about Denver though. People aren't talking about Boston just because we talked about Boston all season this year and all the playoffs last year. People just talking about their teams.
Yeah, and they're still
Um,
really good though. They're still probably the best team in the
I
league
know
with
Denver's gonna
good
get it.
squad.
Denver's gonna make it to like the problem is Denver has to play Phoenix in the second round of the playoffs. The best team in the NBA,
That's a
or, I'm
problem.
sorry, the best team in the Western Conference is the Phoenix Suns. Kevin Durant had
Talent
like
wise,
32 on like 13 of 17 shooting the other day. I was like, that's just
but do
crazy.
you value talent or do you value continuity?
For I mean, I value talent first, of course. But then if you look at if you're gonna argue
Do you
continuity,
value
the Suns.
talent or do you value depth and continuity?
But if you're gonna talk continuity, you're talking about Kevin Durant is the best plug and play superstar that I've maybe ever seen. Kevin Durant can play with anyone.
For sure.
And it's not like, have you seen? I think they're undefeated when Kevin Durant plays.
Are they?
I think so. I
No,
think they're
no,
like,
no, no, no. I know they lost one.
I think they're like 6-0 or 6-1.
Maybe. Hold on.
Maybe it was the game he got. No, he played the game. He didn't even play the game. I heard. Either way, they're like 6-1 or something or 5-1. Kevin Durant's the best plug and play player that I've ever seen as a superstar at that level. Devin Booker and the rest of the Suns team has continuity still, so that's not even an argument.
They're 6-0.
Do they lack depth? A little bit. But in the playoffs, depth only matters with your 7 deep. You need to be 7 deep, not 9. Being 9 deep helps, but for the playoffs, you only need to be 7 deep.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant gets injured, then that's a different story. But they are, I think,
That'll be a question too.
If I'm
Can
the
CP
Suns,
make it?
if I'm Denver, I'm terrified of playing the Suns in the second round. And if I'm the
Not the
Kings,
Suns, I'm terrified to play
if I'm the
Denver.
Kings and the Grizzlies, I'm like, I may luck out and I may get to play Golden State in the first round.
How is that
I'm not
lucking
scared of Golden State. I'm sorry.
with Wiggins coming back?
Okay, if we start this argument, we're gonna have a whole other episode. So let's save this till the playoffs actually
Yeah.
start, and then we'll debate who.
Yeah,
who's
we'll see.
not. But even with Wiggins back, let's just wait and see. But we'll have this one up pretty soon, and then we'll as the playoffs, once we finally know who's in the play-in and who wins the play-in, we'll talk about our playoff predictions. But thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.